Welcome back to the Westwolf Podcast. I'm your host, JD Jackson. As always, you can find me on Twitter, JD Jackson at the Westwolf Podcast, and on YouTube at the Westwolf Podcast. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Westwolf Podcast. I really appreciate you. Russell Westbrook is now at Denver Nugget. The Denver Nuggets start training camp today, September 27th, and they had media day yesterday. So let's talk all about what we heard from the players and Coach Malone. As far as media day is concerned, I thought I heard a lot of the right things coming from them. And I just want to talk about that just to kick off the season of the Westwolf Podcast. Guys, remember, you can subscribe to me here on YouTube. Please do. But remember, I'm on all the major podcast platforms. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, CastBox, and much more. So please hit that subscribe button. Guys, training camp is here. Basketball is back. Let's get it. Guys, first and foremost, I do want to talk about what the Denver Nuggets players are saying about this particular season. What I love about them is they're giving so much respect for KCP, people who are moving on, who have moved on from the Denver Nuggets, while also not really disrespecting the players that are currently here in any way at the same time. Jokic, Murray, Gordon, they all talked about how great KCP was, and even Malone, how great KCP was, how important he was to the team, what he brought, that he's a big loss. But then they also went on to just talk about how they believe the other players can fill some gaps and holes that KCP left behind. They're not saying they're the exact same defender, any of that, but I just thought they did an outstanding job of paying homage, giving respect to the player who played there before, helped them win championships, and then also just respecting the players that are currently here. So that's something I found profound. I found very mature, very professional about the Denver Nuggets squad, and I just wanted to point that out. I was very impressed with that. And then they all talked about, in regards to Russell Westbrook, we usually hear the same thing in the last 5 or 6 years. I'll say 4 or 5 years is, oh, well, he brings it every night. And although that is a completely admirable attribute, sometimes it can disrespectfully become that he's not good at anything else other than that. And that's just not true. Something that they all name in addition to, he brings it every night, which, guys, that is amazing. It's awesome. I tell all of my players to watch Russell Westbrook because he just works so hard. But they all also mentioned the leadership he's going to bring. It was for everyone. It was almost one of the first things they said, that he's a great leader. He's someone you want to play for. I think that that's a big deal for the Denver Nuggets, talking with Denver Nuggets fans and things like that, that they just need someone who gives them that additional leadership outside of Jokic. Hold them accountable, push them hard every night, give it to them every night. Russell Westbrook talked about how his job is just to make sure Murray is the best version of himself every night. I thought that was profound that they added that in addition to the fact that he brings it every night. Almost the exact next thing they said for all of them was his leadership skills. Then, of course, Murray and Gordon mentioned his playmaking ability, so that Jokic. And so I think all that's going to be great. I think Russell Westbrook is going to bring pace. He is going to bring leadership. He is going to bring it every night. And he's got some skills in the playmaking ability. Like, I think he's the greatest interior passer of all time. We all know he can still get in the paint at will. And I'm just happy to see them recognize that, in addition to the fact that he's just a workhorse. He just works really hard. I thought that was very profound from all of the Denver Nuggets players in regards to Russell Westbrook. Now, in addition to that, Russell Westbrook talked a ton about how important it is for him to just be a great teammate. They asked him questions about how he would fit in, what he thinks his role would be, things like that. And Russell Westbrook was very profound in just saying that he will do whatever Coach Malone tells him to do, and that's what he's always done. Now, despite the false narratives out there, largely from what I understand, that is indeed the truth. He's never just wanted to go against what the coach wants to do. He just does whatever they ask him to do. Now, I think that's important to point out because people tend to have different things to say about Russ Westbrook in particular, about that part of his personality on the court and in the locker room. But he just talked about how he just wants to do whatever the coach needs him to do because that's what he'll do, because he can do everything on the basketball court. And it's true. He can create, he can get to the rim, he can defend, he can rebound, he can pass, he can do everything on the basketball court. And so He just wants to know what I have to do, and just give me the direction of what I have to do, and I'll do that. And he'll find a way to contribute to the basketball game, and he always does. So I thought that was very profound by Russell Westbrook to just point out, like, whatever they need me to do, that's what I'll do. Great answer by him. I also noticed for Jokic, he's very excited to play for Nikola Jokic. I can tell. He talked about how he's just the best player in the world, and he just makes the game easier for everyone around him. So he's super excited to play with Nikola Jokic. That much has been articulated to me even before the media day. For people close to him, that he's looking forward to the basketball acumen of Nikola Jokic playing the game the right way. And not only is the game being made easier for him by the Denver Nuggets, Jokic and team, but he wants to make the game easier for the Denver Nuggets, his teammates as well. We know he will do that. That's what he's great at. So I thought that was profound as well about Nikola Jokic. Jamal Murray, he made a big point that he really, really wants to make sure Murray brings it at the same level of intensity every single night. And you guys know Russell Westbrook will get up under his teammates that he believes in. He did it to Paul George at OKC. Paul George was top 5 in MVP voting. And I think that's as close as he's ever gotten. And it was people who watched that season. I watched all 82 games in the playoffs. It was Russ was always on him about keep going, keep pushing, get to the rim, shoot the ball. Like that's what he was pushing Paul George to do. And I feel like we're going to see a lot of similar things to that to Jamal Murray, which I think is great for Jamal Murray. I'm curious to see how Russell Westbrook goes about it with Jamal Murray. He was like really on Paul George. I think Jamal Murray's a little bit younger than Paul George was at the time. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd just like to see how he accomplishes that, how he goes about trying to accomplish that. But Jamal Murray is a great player in himself. Like he's absolutely amazing. I can't believe he gets as much hate as he does sometimes. Jamal Murray is excellent. He's great one on one. But I do think that Russell Westbrook's going to make things easier for him because Russell Westbrook is a great creator, playmaker. He's great with mismatches. He identifies and reads things really, really well. So I do think he'll make it easier for Murray. He doesn't have to do as much the point guard duties. If he's on the floor, Russell Westbrook, he gets to kind of just be Jamal Murray, you know. So I think that I think that duo would be successful. But I'm really, really curious about seeing Russell Westbrook with Michael Porter Jr. I know he gets a lot of heat as well. But hey, Michael Porter, he's one of the mid-range kings. Shoots absolutely outstanding from there. So I'm curious about that as well. I actually think Michael Porter Jr. and Russell Westbrook are going to be great together on the floor. We shall see. But I'm looking forward to that as well. So that's another thing I pointed out. I wanted to just point out with Russell Westbrook in regards to his media availability. He was very candid. I have to be honest. For Russell Westbrook, it was the most open I had seen him at a presser. And I've been watching him since UCLA. His entire career, he was very, very open. He's usually very private about his off the court life and his personality off the floor. He just wants everyone to see the personality of him on the floor. He separates the two. But I thought that he was very candid, very open. I think this is a great thing, Denver fans, with the Denver fan base. He towards the end talked about how he's one way on the court and then he's himself off the court. That's his on court personality. And then he's really down to earth and open and a goofball off of it. That was just amazing for Denver fans to get that from jump. That's not normal. That's not usually something he would do. So I think he's very comfortable and happy. And I know that from people close to Russell Westbrook that DJ being there is one of the biggest reasons why he is so extremely comfortable just in general in Denver. So I'm looking forward to good things, guys. He's in a good mental spot in Denver so far right now. He's just happy. He's got DJ there, one of his closest friends, and he's everything that I see as far as his body language, how he's communicating with the Denver fans early in ways he doesn't have to. That I believe this is going to be a great pairing for the Denver Nuggets and Russell Westbrook. I really do. And so I just wanted to harp on that because it's not normal, Denver fans. You got something special there. So hey, let's see what happens. For this next segment, let's talk about Malone. I saved him on purpose. I thought um, listening to Malone speak on the Denver Nuggets was refreshing, I believe, for specifically for Russell Westbrook fan base. Um, to just hear him talk about how he's one of the greatest players ever and he's a great creator, playmaker, and to hear him talk about how happy he is to have him here. And I genuinely felt that way looking him in his eyes as he's saying these words, streaming on YouTube. I really thought that he meant every word. And to hear him speak about his defense was refreshing, I think, for Russell Westbrook fans all over the world. Russell Westbrook defense took a hit during his MVP season because he had to do literally everything. No Russ fan's going to tell you he was great defensively during his MVP season. I mean, did you see everything he had to do? Like they had to, by design, and he had to work so hard to give his team the best chance at winning back. I can't believe he won 56% of his games during that season. I can't. But he had to go get every rebound because what gave them the best chance at scoring was for him to get the rebound and push the pace. Oh, he stole rebounds. No, he didn't. They had to have him do that in order to win 55, 56% of his games. I get which one it is. They had to. So that's why he went and got every rebound. So he can do everything on the basketball court. And for Mike Malone to understand, I watched all of the Clippers games. And when he was on the court at the end of games, he was guarding the opposing team's best player and did a great job. And he usually did. Now, if you haven't seen, I've got multiple videos, but I've definitely got one that's like 4.5 minutes long, and just showing Russell Westbrook, specifically the one off ball, which is over 4 minutes long, because they all say Russell Westbrook's terrible off ball. So I have a video out there on Twitter. You can just kind of search my my Twitter page. It's on there somewhere about Russell Westbrook's defense. And he's splitting the difference. He's point of attack. He's covering for errors. He's hustling for loose balls. He's guarding the post. Just outstanding. And I know some Clippers fans make jokes, but Russ doesn't play for them anymore. The truth was, as Mike Malone was saying, when he was on the floor at the end of games, he was guarding the opposing team's best player. That statement was usually true. And he did a good job. Because he's great at everything on the basketball court. And so it was refreshing to hear Mike Malone point that out when asking about who's going to guard the other smaller guards. Now, it may be Christian Brown because that is the first person he named. But then he quickly kind of wanted to make sure that he got to Russell Westbrook as well. And because Russell Westbrook's a great defender, I don't know, especially at the point of attack. Especially at the point of attack. And his MVP season made people like run with this narrative that he just can't guard. Dwayne Wade says differently. Kobe Bryant says differently. Guys, I'm going to listen to those people instead of the fans on Twitter. And the tape shows it. Russell Westbrook held the Dallas Mavericks to 31% shooting in the playoffs. I'm going to go with that stat. Okay? I'm going to go with that one. He's a good point of attack. He's a great point of attack defender. He's a good defender, and he's gotten even better off ball, I'd say the last like 5 years. So I just don't know where that comes from. But it was refreshing to hear Mike Malone say it. And Mike Malone talked about him. He could possibly, close games because of his defensive ability, because of his strength, because of his size. Because Russell Westbrook can guard 1 through 4. And sometimes he can guard 5s. He's guarded Embiid at the end of games and held his own. He's guarded Giannis. And so he's at one point, I think he was guarding Claxton at the end of a game. Because he can guard 5s too in a pinch. And so you've got this 6'3" guard who can guard 1 through 5. 1 through 4, sometimes 5. And it was just nice to hear Malone recognize that And he says no one talks about it. Everybody talks about his playmaking, his speed, athleticism, and no one talks about his ability to play defense. Well, guess what? Right here on the Westwolf podcast, I've been preaching that for years. Right here on the Westwolf pod. He's a great point of attack defender, a good defender as well. He communicates. He's always pointing in direction, trying to tell everybody where they need to be. I think you guys Denver fans will be quite surprised about Russell Westbrook, period, when it comes to the narrative versus what's true. Now, is Russell Westbrook a three-point shooter? No. But he never has been. So I never understand why some fan bases, their team trades for Russell Westbrook or signs Russell Westbrook, and then they're shocked he shoots 31% from three. Well, that's what he shoots from three, guys, for his entire career. Okay? If you got Russell Westbrook to shoot three-pointers, I don't know what to tell you. But he's great at everything else in the basketball court. Now, from what I understand, what's been told to me from people close to him, first of all, I know he always works on his jump shot. I get tired of hearing people talk about how he does not work on his jump shot. He always works on his jump shot. All the time. Three-pointers, mid-range, all of that. He also always works on his free throws. Okay? Let's get that out the way. But from what I understand, he's really, really worked hard. Very, very hard in various areas of his jump shot. And so there are some people who think just watching him in the gym that he may shoot a little bit better this season. I don't know how true that is. Again, if you're getting Russell Westbrook to shoot great from three, then you trade it for the wrong person or you sign the wrong person. That's just how I feel about that. And I'm just going to be, like I told you guys, I'm honest. That's just flat out. He's a creator. He's a playmaker. He's a great passer. He's the best interior passer of all time. He's the greatest rebounding guard of all time. He's a great leader. He gives it to you every play. He hustles hard. Those are all the things Russell Westbrook brings. And he's a great teammate. So, and he gives you paint pressure and pace. The only thing I'm not saying is 3-point shooting, and I'm honest. I'm an honest Russell Westbrook fan. If he shoots 35% from three, 34% from three, that is freaking awesome. He did it his MVP season. He was unguardable. We all know that. But that was one time. Okay, and he had quite the green light that season. So that's how I feel about that. But I think that outside of that, the narratives that you hear won't match what you get on the basketball court, and I think Denver fans will be quite surprised about Russell Westbrook, the player, and what he brings to the basketball team. Malone also talked about how there was just a different energy on the court because he was in the gym the day before training camp. He said he just couldn't explain it. Guys, Russell Westbrook's demeanor, Russell Westbrook's personality, his character, how hard he works, it is absolutely contagious. It just sifts through the entire locker room. And everybody grabs it. And it just attaches to everybody. And then it comes out on your team. And that fire and passion, it's good for basketball. It's good for the basketball team. So, that's what, it's hard to explain, like Malone said, but that's what it is. It's just great fire, great passion. And it just engulfs everyone. And it just becomes a part of their on-court personality as well. And I think that's what Jokic wants. He wants someone to run through a brick wall with. I think that's what Gordon wants. Someone who will run through a brick wall for him. That's Russell Westbrook. So, I loved everything Malone said as well. He also did a great job of giving much respect to KCP, while also giving respect to the other players, the younger players like Strother, Brown, stuff like that. I thought that he did an amazing job. I can't wait to see more on the basketball court as far as the first day of training camp, first practices. Today, Friday, September 27th. I can't wait to get reports from that, hear from the players and things like that. Hopefully we get some sneak peeks. I hope so. I always enjoy those as well. But guys, they play a game in Abu Dhabi in 1 week. 1 week. And we get to see the new look different. Now, how often, how much the core players will play, we don't know. It's usually very little the first preseason game, but I'm still excited. I can't wait to watch it. You can watch it, I believe, on the NBA app if you have NBA League Pass. I just want to point that out there. I was like, tell everybody that's usually how it goes in the preseason. So get the League Pass, $16.99 if you have YouTube TV. Just pointing it out. So, but guys, right here is where I'll break things. Thank you guys so much for listening to the Westwolf podcast. I really, really appreciate it. Guys, if you enjoyed the podcast, please hit that subscribe button. I would really, really appreciate it. And if you're listening on all the major podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Radio Public, CastBox, and much, much more, please hit that subscribe button as well. Guys, I cannot wait for the season to start. Who's going to be there with me to watch the preseason game Friday? And I'll be Dubai versus the Boston Celtics. Please leave a comment. Let me know if you were watching it. It will be a great time. Can't wait. The NBA season actually starts in less than a month. Guys, basketball is back. And I love the sport of basketball. If you guys are excited as I am. But guys, thank you so much for hitting that like button, hitting that subscribe button. And as always, until next time, peace.